everyone, welcome to our channel. This is a series called Write Well with Maxxcell, where we discuss the writing section of IELTS exam in detail. So far we have covered the basics of writing section, the judging criteria or the writing band descriptors, and we have also covered report writing, which is the task 1 of academic IELTS. Today we are going to be looking at letter writing, which is again the task 1 for IELTS General. So without further ado, let's begin. The things we are going to cover today include the structure of the letter, the different types of letters, and how to approach each one differently. At the end, we will also discuss how to manage the time for letter writing. Let's begin. First, let us understand what are the different types of letters for IELTS writing. We have three types of letters, namely formal, semi-formal, and informal. Now, formal letters are written to authority figures you do not know. For example, if you are applying for a job at a certain company, then you are writing a letter to the manager. Coming to semi-formal, they are authority figures you may know but not closely. For example, an employer or your landlord, right? Coming to informal, informal letters are the easiest letters and they are written to family or friends or any other person you know intimately, right? So it can be your aunt, your school friend, your cousin. So these are all the people you will write an informal letter to. Moving on, the question for today is, which type of letter do you have to write for the following question? And here is your question. You have been living in a rented house for the last 2 months. Your landlord has a new dog that makes a lot of noise at night, preventing you from sleeping. Write a letter to your neighbor. In your letter, describe the problem with the dog, explain why it is important for you to get to sleep, and suggest what your neighbor could do about the situation. Now, which type of letter will you write in case of this question? Comment below. Let's move on to the next part, which is how to structure the letter. So first, we have the salutation. Now normally, we usually write the address first, but in case of IELTS, we directly start with the salutation. Now, given the type of letter, you will have to write the appropriate salutation. Okay? So, for formal letters, the salutation is Dear Sir or Madam or Dear Mr. or Miss. Most of the times, their names will not be given. In that case, you will just have to write Dear Sir or Madam. But if their name is given, then you will write the last name. So, Mr. Smith or Miss Smith, right? Moving on, semi-formal letters. Semi-formal letters are written, like I said, to authority figures you do know. So, most of the times you will definitely know the name, the last name or the surname. So, you will have to refer to them as Dear Mr. or Miss and the last name. Moving on, informal letters, like I said, are written to people you are very close with. So in that case, you will directly write their first name. So Dear Rohit or Dear Reina. Okay. So moving on. After the salutation, the first paragraph is the introduction paragraph. Now what all is included in that? First, you have to definitely introduce yourself. You have to tell your name and then you will state why you are writing the letter. What is the reason for you to write this particular letter? Okay, here is an example of an introduction paragraph. My name is Mark Roberts. You can see this person has given their name and then they have given the reason. And I am writing to you regarding a Nokia camera that I bought at your department store on Sun Hill Road, Dewsbury on the 5th September. Now, in case of this letter, as we can see, this is a formal letter that this person is writing to to Nokia, right? Nokia customer care maybe. And he's mentioning the exact date and he's mentioning the department store from which he bought his phone. Okay, so all these details have to be included. Moving on to the body paragraphs, right? Now each paragraph should be written per each bullet point. Now, in the sample question that I showed you, there were 3 bullet points, right? So you have to write one paragraph for each bullet point. Sometimes if the bullet point is very short, then you might merge 2 bullet points within one paragraph. However, most of the times it is individual paragraphs for each bullet point. Now, for example, here is the example question that I showed you before, and the bullet points were: describe the problem with the dog. So you have to describe the problem, right? Then explain why it is important for you to get to sleep. So a reason why it is important for you to sleep. So maybe you are, having exams, or you work at, say, a hospital, right? So all of these will be reasons why you require to sleep and why you need a good rest, correct? So moving on, suggest what your neighbor could do about the situation. So suggestions to solve the given problem. So all of these need to be included in your letter, and for each one you will make a separate paragraph. And the last part of the letter is called the subscription. What is the subscription? It is the ending. So use the appropriate ending for each type of letter. So depending on what type of letter you are writing, you are going to end your letter with the respective subscription. Okay. So if you have started the letter with dear sir or madam, right, and you did not write their name, you just refer to them as sir or madam, then your ending will be yours faithfully. Okay, so you will have to end your letter with yours faithfully. Whereas in case you have given their last name, so Mr. or Miss, and you have given some last name here, then you will end the letter with yours sincerely. Okay. Now, in case of informal letter where we use the person's first name, in that case you will end your letter with something like best wishes, which is very informal, and kind regards, which again is informal. Now this is for informal letter. Okay, let's recap. The first one is for formal letter. The second one is for mostly semi-formal, can be for formal also. If you have written the name of the person, the last name, then you might have to end with yours sincerely, even for a formal letter. Okay, but mostly for semi-formal letter is the letter where we usually write their surnames. In that case, you will end your letter with yours sincerely, and at the end we have informal letters, which always end with either best wishes or kind regards. Usually you can use them both, but recommended would be best wishes keep for your friends, and kind regards you can keep for your family. Okay, so that's it. That is the format. So this is how you have to write a letter for IELTS. You're not going to write the address, and you're not going to include any extra information like the date. You're directly going to start with the salutation, and you're going to end with the subscription. And obviously at the end, after the subscription, you have to write your name. You have to sign off. Now coming to time. How are you going to manage your time? What is the recommended time management for the letter? Okay. So as we know, the entire writing task is of 60 minutes. The breakup is 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2. Now in case of this 20 minute split for the letter, what are you going to do? You're going to use 5 minutes for planning. You have to plan your letter. Why? Because each letter is going to be different, right? And there will be different bullet points. So you should make note of what are the different parts of the task that are asked of you, and then you should also plan what are the points you're going to write for it. Make sure you're keeping the plan right in front of you before you even start writing. Right? Your ideas that you're going to include in your letter need to be jotted down before you start your actual letter. Moving on, you have to write the letter for around 10 minutes. Try to write as fast as possible while still making sure you're including good words and you're also showing a lot of grammatical range. Moving on, you have to check your letter at the end. Now, this is a step that a lot of students forget to include. This is a very important step because a lot of times we do tend to make mistakes when it comes to grammar and punctuation. And that is it for today. Next time we will discuss essay writing, which is task 2 of IELTS writing section. If that is something you might be interested in, consider subscribing. Also, if you like this video, hit the like button and share it as much as possible. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. If you're looking for IELTS classes, look no further because we offer offline as well as online classes where we provide you with comprehensive material, test series account and personalized feedback. For more details, contact us.